We're in Birmingham, and this is King Edward School. This is where I came between 1954 and 1960, so it's as if but yesterday. We are in another era. I think the overwhelming feeling is one of affection, actually, because I had a pretty fabulous time here, and I thought it was a terrific... You see, in my day, they didn't torture the little boys like that. I'd been put into a classics form, but I was terrible at it. First report out of a class of 27, I achieved in Latin the position of 27th. And it says, this is a weak subject, but he struggles along cheerfully and has made some progress. My home life was a little bit odd. I basically was brought up by my dad and his mother, my granny, whilst my mum was unfortunately committed to a mental hospital. She was diagnosed as being schizophrenic, and that was where she was right the way throughout my childhood and teenage years, really, so I just didn't really know her. A lot of my friends didn't really know, because I hardly ever took anybody back to the house. So I never thought of myself as deprived of a mother or anything. But I think, looking back, home wasn't very interesting. It wasn't necessarily that it was awful, but it really wasn't very interesting. And so I tended to spend my time doing something else. Going out to the local reservoir with my binoculars and bird watching was one of the things. And the other thing was making the school day a lot longer than it actually was. And the school was, I don't know, whatever the building word is for in loco parentis, you know, it was instead of my home, I lived here. Sport was a revelation when I came to KES, and the playing fields were legion. Cricket pitches, I played a lot of cricket, tennis, several tennis courts, played quite a lot of tennis, and the other one, rugby, without a doubt. It was quite a successful rugby school, and there's a memorial from that time. That's my rugby colours, yes. Doesn't quite fit, never did, and I believe somewhere around is one of my teammates from long ago. Is there anybody on here you recognise?
One or two.
Oh yes, handsome fellow, weren't you?
Lean and hungry in those days, yes.
To me, the rugby was one of the big be-all and end-alls of being at school. Was it that important to you?
Yes, and sport generally.
And sport in general, yes, exactly.
But
yeah.
The rugby was terrific.
My great shame was that I was captain of the team that lost the Civitas Smith Cup after many years of victory. Apparently, I was just talking to some people at school now, and they haven't won for years. We started the demise.
Well, maybe.
Ooh. This is big school! And the acoustic's very good, so I don't have to shout. This was the scene of my first performances, and this was about, I don't know, 56 or 57, something like that. And it was a revue with comedy and songs. Oh, look, I've got a credit here, playing harmonica played by W.E. Oddie. And a couple of years later, so just before I went, July 20th and 21st, 1959, we have Let's Face It, but this time it was written by myself. I know we got terribly good reviews. On two successive nights, the large audiences in Big School applauded a performance of which the standard was very high. One of the things that's striking me is how many of the things I've gone on to do through the whole of my life actually began at this school. People always talk about me as part of the Cambridge mob and the Footlights, but it was here that I actually got into those things.